Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's September 30th, 2024. It's a Monday, but most importantly, in real time, right now, we pre-taped this show at 4 o'clock. And in real time, I'm going to the bottom of the ninth inning. The Mets up 8-7 over the Braves. A Mets win, and they are in the playoffs. It's a doubleheader. So if the teams split, both go in to the playoffs. If one team sweeps, the other one doesn't go in. I believe Arizona goes in. I don't even know who. I don't even care. But the most amazing thing about this game, the Mets were getting whooped. Down 3-0 going into the eighth. And the starting pitcher for the Braves was kicking butt. He goes out. Mets score 6. Up 6-3. Braves score 4 in the bottom of the eighth. Down 7-6. Marte gets on base. Lindor, home run. Mets up 8-7. Diaz is in. Had a crappy eighth inning. Hopefully he has a better ninth inning. We'll let you know as the game goes. First batter is out. Fly ball right to second base. Yes, 1 out. 2 to go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Investor's Edge. Serious talk about everything that affects you. North Carolina. First off, in case you don't know, I went to Camp Blue Star when I was a kid in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Loved it there. We used to, and subsequently have visited that area many a time. My favorite activity in this world, believe it or not, is sliding rock. It's a place right around Hendersonville, Asheville. It's a natural form rock that you slide down into a pool of water, which is like freezing. Chimney Rock, all these places, Asheville, they have been rocked by the hurricane. They're inland, but the mountains, the lakes, Lake Lure, Asheville, they don't know how many are dead. I think they've counted 90 by now. There's many missing. And the biggest problem that's going to be had is getting in there. The main highway has been cut off big time. The mountainous roads, I can only imagine the trees and the branches that are down. Our thoughts are with everybody there. I love the area. The last time I was there, I stayed at this place called the Grove Park Inn. Took my goddaughters to Sliding Rock and Chimney Rock and all the places there. And heart is broken. That's all I can say. We'll be thinking of them. Next, we're covering a little bit of news. Israel. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? There's going to be a point where they had enough, and they finally have had enough. They're taking out the terrorists wherever they are that have basically threatened Israel. 8,000 rockets from Hezbollah in the last year. I have told you I'm going to post them again on Twitter. First time I was in Israel. Imagine if you lived in New York City and from Weehawken, New Jersey, they were lobbing rockets onto you. That's what happened to me when I was there. 5 times at bomb shelters, and Israel never answered back. I have the pictures of the Iron Dome taking the rockets out. Israel's had enough. And they have shown that they are playing chess while the terrorists are playing checkers. The unfortunate thing about all this is we are finding out the great news is it's the minority of people. when we see, by the way, we'll get into the markets, I promise you, in a bit. When you see these students that don't even know what the hell they're even talking about in the colleges, it's a minority of them. When you see crazies in the streets, it's a minority of people. 99% of us are pretty normal. Don't like terrorists, right? But I don't know what's happened to some. But we're finding out who's who. And it's going to get more and more interesting. Israel's had enough. Let me finish off with a little bit of news, the elections. As you know, I have no use for either. I am a conservative, independent, libertarian. I used to be in the Republican Party, but they're just a bunch of wayward doofuses that have been a part of taking us to $35 trillion. I am not a fan of Trump, you know that. Nothing personal. I think he's the best way I can put it is whatever you hear on Monday, you better listen up on Tuesday. And just some of the crap that comes out of him, I just can't take. But I must tell you, the con artistry of the other side, the fraud of the other side, the corruption and collusion by the media on it is beyond the beyond. They said Trump was a big, gigantic liar, the biggest liar of all time. And I wouldn't argue that point because he lies. They make him look like a truth teller. That's the best way I can put it. It's so disheartening to watch because you know the media is full of crap also. The media refuse to cover things the way they should be covered. They're not even-handed. The reason why Fox News became so big is because they realized what was going on many moons ago. It's just disheartening that, I'm sorry, for those who love Trump and for those who love Kamala Harris, I think they're both, neither should be running this country, and we're going to get one of them. The hope is whoever we get does the right thing. I think we know what we're going to get from Kamala Harris. She's made up her whole life in the last 2 months that everything about her was not. They want us to believe that. The fact of the matter was and is, she is an open border, high taxer, huge government, and it's tiresome. We'll see how it goes into the election, but I am actually continue to be pissed at myself that I wasn't in the fray. Trump, well, I know what he says we're going to get. He said yesterday we should have a day of violence. These are his words. A day of violence on the shoplifters. Take that in your pipe. And I know I'm going to catch some you-know-what from both sides. I'm just quoting what's been said. Anyway, in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, them, the Morlocks, and what they have done. that is going to take us to 50, 60 trillion of debt, if not more, to the point where last month, on purpose, they ran 380 billion debt in order to make life good for them as they head into the election. And no, I am not making this up. No, we sent them 308 billion. They spent 688 billion. No, really. Not being reported. Just so you know. That was done on purpose. For GDP's sake. For election's sake. These are your leaders. Up next, we'll do the markets. Lots going on. Thanks for being here. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Mets win! Mets win! Mets win! That was one of the wildest games. Woo! Mets win 8-7. Oh, man. I'm texting my friend right now. I'm in the midst of doing my radio show while I'm watching the game. Anyway, so the Mets are in the playoffs, and now it's about whether they sweep Braves. Braves would be out. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, Mets win. The markets. First off, let's talk China because that's the big news. At 11 a.m. today, I started writing my peeps that I thought today was going to be one of the reversal days. Finally hit a wall. Not because anything's wrong. In case you don't know, the China main ETF went from 27 to 33 in 5 days. So probably hit a little bit of a wall. I'm letting you know. I do believe this thing has legs. But pullbacks at this juncture, we will let you know. Just pullbacks at this juncture. The other part of the equation today, I don't even know how to explain it. In one day, in just one day, they opened it hot. The NASDAQ was at 18,165 early, if I have that right. And it dropped 170 points when Jay Powell said, I guess he said something about 2 quarter-point cuts, and I guess people were pissed. So they ran it down. And I'm not making this up by telling you that into the close they ran the NASDAQ like 100 points in like before you can blink. So the NASDAQ finished up 69. We'll do big picture in a second. The Dow, again, not making this up, At 10:50 today, it hit 42,309 and was never really up. But at one time today, it was down about 400. 41,929. It's 384 points. They rallied the Dow up about 250 points in the last, 20 minutes to be up 17 points. Now, I bring this up to you for the simple reason of it matters. How markets finish matter. And today, no matter what, there was an opportunity to sink the market on for whatever news. And instead, it was bought up furiously. I'll be in the midst of scanning right after the radio show's done. What impressed me most was my main screen that was beet red, lit up like a pinball machine when all was said and done. And I will walk through stock after stock to see if there's any setups. Just stunning. In one day. Welcome to my world. It's quite crazy. What we'll simply be looking for is leadership. But damn, that was a good close. And I didn't see any news at the end of the day. Not a big moving day. Again, Dow was up 17. NASDAQ up, what was it, 0.3%? No big deal. But it's how they finish that counts and what they finish with. So good day. Now today is end of quarter. I know what people think, end of quarter. I couldn't care less. For me, I do believe in seasonality. But when all is said and done, when I do my scanning, everything gets drowned out. Couldn't care what day it is. I only care what is in front of me. The interesting part about today is yields went up. Market wasn't bothered at the close. It was quite bothered in the middle of the day. Now, could it have been end of month, end of quarter window dressing? Sure. We'll know more in the next few days. One of the biggest questions I am getting asked now, one of the biggest questions I am being asked now, is the election and if who wins. Well, I can safely tell you, normally I would tell you right now I am 100% sure of who's going to win the presidency, but I really don't know. There's a vice presidential debate tomorrow. That could, I do believe, and sorry Trumpians, if you had a good candidate in the Republican Party, they'd be up by 10 points right now. I believe he gets an F+ F- on the debate and the way he's handling himself again. A day of violence. What the hell is that? Come on! But he is a flawed candidate, as much as so many people love him. And as I've told you, if I was up against him in the primary, it would be 90-10. That's how much he's loved, and God bless you all. Completely respect you. I believe she's a nightmare. I believe she's a made-up candidate. I believe all her policies right now are made up out of thin air. So here's the way I'm looking at it. If she wins, we're getting gridlock. I have no way, in my estimation, that the Democrats keep the Senate. They're trying to talk up a big game. There's no way. The Republicans are going to have the Senate. The House, the Republicans should be way ahead. But in the midterm, did a terrible job, mishandled. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have gridlock. The problem with gridlock these days, look what Biden's been able to do with executive actions. We never ever thought executive actions can pay off people, but they did. Gridlock will be great if she wins. Nothing gets done. I'll explain up next on Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So, the election's going to matter. I highly doubt anyone gets the House, Senate, and the White House. If it was a good Republican candidate, I think it would be over. I've got to tell you how I think and how I feel. Trump just pisses off too many people. Simple as that. I think he called Kamala Harris mentally ill yesterday. Not going to win any votes. Not going to win any votes. I try to get through him. Dude, become an actor for a couple of months. Just fake it. Nope. I get emails from people saying it's really Obama running for president again. I wouldn't argue that. I think there's huge influence. If you notice, he was a big part of getting rid of Biden. Gridlock would be good if the Democrats, and I use that word lightly, get the House, Senate, and the White House. I can't imagine what they're going to do. Remember what I have said to you. When I use the term Marxist, I don't use it as a pejorative. Some people do. This is who they are. They are control freaks. They will raise your taxes in unimaginable ways. They'll lie about it. They don't care. They have ruined cities. They've ruined cities with their policies of easy on crime. Screw the citizens. They have destroyed the border and have lied about it. And again, I don't understand the media, why they cover for people like this. It boggles the mind. We'll see how it plays out. We will be on it in a very big way. I'm going to have some decisions to make in the months ahead because somebody's got to save the day. You cannot have crazed people running this country. It is we the people, and I think they've all forgotten it. And I'm very good at picking people apart. It's disheartening, but I deal with the facts. Trump did a great thing today. He went to where the hurricanes hit. You know how the media described it? Oh, he's just doing it for pandering. Biden and Harris did not go. He can't do anything right, according to the media. They are the most corrupt institution we have in this country. We move on. The markets. First off, in 3 weeks, we start getting the earnings reports. All I can tell you, and I'm going to just a few things. China, stretched, extended, overbought, probably today hits some sort of enough for this second. We think it's probably going higher. We'll let the market decide. The crypto, 7th month of range, and we believe it's really kind of sort of the NASDAQ these days. In other words, if the NASDAQ goes into a bear market, Bitcoin's going to drop 30, 40, 50, 60%. Oh, by the way, another problem I have with Trump is he's now talking about Bitcoin's going to pay off our debt. What kind of bull crap is that? Stunning bull crap. Semiconductors continue to labor and continue to underperform. NVIDIA is in its 14th week of range, sitting just above the 50-day moving average. Along with China, where these other sectors that were China-based, casinos, commodities. We'll see how long that goes. To take the negative side on the China thing, what does the Chinese government see that they have to do all these things they're doing? Always have to think that way. Big tech, Meta continues to be the best chart out there. Oracle and SAP in good shape. Others not so good. And you'll have to wait for earnings reports. Apple starting to act much better these days. In spite of a lot of talk, that business, not so great. I think there's a China component with the action in Apple these days. As you know, we bought it on the big breakout above, 200? Sold about 228. Watched it go back under 200. Whip all over the place. Was up 5 today to 233. In the Dow, Home Depot's a new yearly high on down earnings and sales. All the analysts coming out saying the lower interest rates will help. In the Dow, names like IBM and 3M, down and outers, new yearly highs. In the Dow, Boeing, new yearly low, and is still down, 65% from the highs of a few years ago. Thus, we always tell you, it's okay to hold long term, just make sure what you're holding long term is working. Foreign markets seem to be in shape. The weird thing, Japan got whooped overnight on a new head of state there. 1,900 points on a 38,000 point index. Wow, huh? Financials range bound, but not doing anything wrong. Transports range bound, better, nothing special. Retail, still a ton of bear markets in the retail space, though things like Best Buy on crappy numbers near new yearly highs. Oils, bear market continues. Bearish phase, except for there are some pipeline stocks in pretty good shape. So very mixed bag, but I like how some of the leadership is starting to shape up for some potential going forward. And today was quite the interesting. Market had a chance to have some trouble today, and they just ramped the living crap out of it into the close. I'm impressed. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Valuation of the market in the trees. Warren Buffett raising a ton of cash, selling a ton of stock. Selling tons of Bank America. Not worried about him selling off his Apple because he still has a ton. And certainly Apple stock not too worried either. The big indices, I don't have much to complain about. We'll let you know if that changes. Up next. Oh, I can't wait for the emails tonight. Up next. Whatever else shows up. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for? Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
All right. The most important part of today, the Mets in the playoffs. Yay. Whew. That was one wild game. I'm already getting a bunch of emails from people that know what I think about the Mets. Whew. Lindor with the 2-run homer. I gotta figure out if the Mets, if Atlanta wins the second game, they're in. If Atlanta loses both, whatever. I used the word disheartening today. And I am. And I hope you respect that. People and politics tend to get very emotional. We only care about us. We think they have all really let us down. I'm going to give you some facts here. Interest costs on the public debt are now topping $1 trillion for 2024. $1 trillion. Interest. As I have said to you, Kamala Harris is nightmarish. What the great con was is they spent us into oblivion to where Joe Manchin said he was conned. Well, we already knew that. and then they're coming after you. You need to know this. It's your wallets. You see how much you are paying for things now versus where it was a few years ago? It is because of too much government. Between the Fed and the spending, that's how it happened. And it's not going back. Do you know why inflation's come down? Demand and the stoppage of printing of money. But in the meantime, in case you did not know, the tax plan of Kamala Harris is to have an unrealized capital gain, which is insane. Oh, but don't worry, it's just for the wealthy. The top income tax rate is going to go up. The capital gains tax rate is going to go up. The investment income tax rate, by the way, there never used to be an investment income tax rate before. That was Obama's scam. And we urge you to go look up Jonathan Gruber, who's on video stating that Obama and the administration lied about all of Obamacare to get it through because we're stupid enough to believe them. They're calling for a big move in the corporate tax rate also, as well as all of your tax cuts from Trump to expire, so all your taxes are going to go higher while the inflation is up and you're paying more for everything. While our Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, says the tax cuts are the problem. Imagine your own Treasury Secretary says that you keeping more of your money is the problem. These are the people to run our country, while letting in 10 million people and blaming others. And part of the great scam that they're pulling now, and I can't believe the media isn't. U.S. government collected, as I said, $307 billion in August. They spent $688. That's all goes to GDP. Makes them look good. Please vote for me. Look at the numbers. It's con artistry at its finest. I'd be up 10 points on her. So when I say disheartening, I really am a huge believer in government, but efficient and effective, and working for you, not against. And when $1 trillion plus is going towards debt, it's working against you. When they let in 10 million people on purpose, and the cost to the country because of that, taken out of other places that money can go. I can give a laundry list of failure. Yet, the coverage of them is like they're the Messiah. The coverage of the other, well, they call him Hitler. We will continue to cover it because we cannot continue this trajectory. And I know what you're thinking. Well, they tell us the economy is in shape. Oh, and look at the stock market. Well, that's us. It's not them. And as I have said to you, there is going to come a time where the markets wake up. They're running $2 trillion deficits on purpose. They're handing out money to their compatriots on purpose. I wish I was making this up. We have one eye out. Tomorrow's the debate of vice president. We'll see how it goes. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. I'll be on with Charles Payne tomorrow. 2 p.m. hour. Check it out. Fox Business Network. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. Stay well, be well. Serenity now. And don't hate me for an opinion. Good night, all.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.